Howdy YouTube. I wanted to record this 1 second. Code is paused. I wanted to record this because I just finished an acupuncture session with my acupuncturist Dean, and we always have a terrific time together, and I wanted to record this primarily as a reminder for myself whenever I get stuck into ridiculous situations. I ultimately do realise the somewhat futility of doing this because I understand my behaviours and thoughts are governed by emotional patterns beyond my conscious control, and really this is the limit of self-improvement. But that said, he seems to stimulate myself on an emotional and spiritual level which is quite extraordinary. And over the past few months we have moved through many different elements, many different facets of myself, leaving me both confused, befuddled, peaceful, exhilarated, angry, and everything in between. And he left me at a very transcendent point within myself today where I felt complete. That is to say, he stuck a needle in my balls last time. Right on my perineum. That's right on my crotch. And it was a reset of everything. It felt like I was me. And this time around, he's left me in a different place. This is a means, acupuncture seems to be a means of rebuilding emotional strength. It's a means of initiating emotional change in a person to the point where all the conditions in their life can be reframed under a much broader, more expansive emotional self-image. And it is an emotional self-image. It's a means of direct communication with the body's natural emotional flow. It works very well for some and it doesn't work so well for others. But this works very, very well for me. And I just want to say there's a huge difference in my voice tone, in my delivery. I barely stutter, I barely even falter. And I see how, in myself, most situations which would be troubling just to completely evaporate. Under the inclusion of a warm, happy, goalless, pointless feeling, emotional state inside self, which is completely detached from any kind of exterior condition, then it feels to me like a much more healthy place to be. And it makes me see how, even from a very early age, we're conditioned to attach exterior circumstance onto our personhood, onto our inner personhood, in such a way which we can never really unravel the circumstances and means by how that occurs without professional help. Now, I've been in the blessed situation of encountering not one but several people who do this for me, and I want to say that it really is all about being happy. Life is about being happy. Life is about achieving happiness regardless of holding it, regardless of exterior circumstance, regardless of the people, the friends in your life, your family, your lovers, your lack of any of those things. That if you imagine yourself to be without fault, then who's to tell you that you're wrong? Because this emotional state is without boundaries and it's without judgment. So who could add any of that onto that and then claim it to be bad? It seems to me that the possibility contained within this is not only one of foundational inner security, but also unlimited possibility. And that if one can hold this, regardless of the exterior circumstances in their life, they have achieved a quality of life far, far beyond 95% of humans that live today. Of course, I will want to spend the remainder of this video talking about my own particular hang-ups at this point, if there are any that come up. And there are several, namely like hearing music in my head that won't go away, being distracted on the root level by my own interior dialogue, or presumed exterior responsibility, which really is completely and utterly irrelevant, and that is the next target to remove. Things from the past, when really that Dean made the very interesting observation that although I've engaged in many accidental one-night stands, either because the person bored me or things just went completely haywire and crazy, that's not who I am, that's not what I wanted. In fact, I would go so far as to suggest casual sex, one-night stands, polyamorous relationships, kinky relationships, bisexual relationships, sadomasochistic or dominant-submissive relationships, as long as there is fun and there is respect, there is no moral judgment from me, and there really should be no moral judgment from anyone else on that subject, ever. It's as simple as that. Be happy. Remain being happy. I know that's difficult to say if you have a situation or circumstance in your life which has completely wedged itself in between you and your happiness. It's a difficult thing to reclaim. In fact, the people who tell you to be happy are more often than not knocked down or pushed away. But these circumstances are really joyous events in disguise. That's the only way to take them in a means and position in which you could move forward. It's to say to yourself, well, okay then. Thank you for teaching me, Master. Of course, your ego will respond in its own fetid, ridiculous ways to try and gain its sense of control back, to complete this self-image that doesn't exist. But even that's changing, even that's evolving, and we can't hope or expect that to ever complete, because the nature of ego in society is perpetual incompletion by nature, because the stuff we think about is the stuff that's incomplete. If it were complete, we wouldn't think about it. But really, there is nothing to think about. And the trick is in gaining emotional strength so strong that it combines and moves fluidly with the outside world in complete unity and harmony as often as possible. Until that point, I can't say that any of us have anything to offer anyone else. It's the delightful state to be in, to feel happy and secure and warm, and to know that this is inviolable by its very nature and will never be violated again, unless you have set up things inside yourself, pre-existing programs which might disrupt that flow, such as demands, judgments, preconditions, mental noise. These are the things which disrupt emotional flow and lead to lack of clarity. The final issue that I want to raise for myself is not being impeccable with my word. And I can tell when I'm not being impeccable with my word because I feel hollow and gutless. I want to tell any and everyone in my life that I will never allow myself to be violated in this fashion by my own hand again. If this means a change in my personality, much more so than has been demonstrated in previous videos and in previous situations in life, then that will be that, because that is my truth. It is the only truth. When I sit inside the power in my gut and allow it to rule my every thought, word, and deed. That's just where I'm going right now. We're moving from an age of linear dualities, right and wrongs, good and bad, like slow, fast, loud and quiet, into a world of abstract colour without goal, without end, without beginning, without any other aim, and seemingly to enjoy the fluid, changing definitions as they interface with the seemingly concrete structures of the physical material world. Until we allow this to define our thoughts, to define our thinking, then I don't believe that any of us are going to make progress on anything. Until then, our lack of happiness will manifest on various different levels in the physical world, such as empty belief systems, which produce unconsciousness in the financial system, the financial crash, or dogmas in religion and politics, or in social life, such as marriage and children. Now, the final point I'll raise on this video. Marriage and children, no thank you. I found something better. Marriage is something that occurs every second of every day. As I think I mentioned in one of my previous videos, the war of the sexes is bullshit. It occurs whenever you choose to engage in total unity with another human being. Children are a means, I think, of self-replication and attempted immortality. But as if you see yourself as faceless and nameless, a spirit without end, a spirit that can transcend the very force of life, a spirit which can transcend death. If you choose to gradually remove the telepathic onslaught of interior programming which has created this entire culture, the walls in this house that you see behind me, even the very visuals and perception that you see, if you see that as part of the programming, of course it's what we have to deal with, but at the end of the day it's under your control. And there is no other reason for you to occupy it other than your will. All I'm asking is that you see the dials on the dashboard and you play with them. I'm not even one to say that your self-destruction is something that is inherently wrong. This is your choice to embody. As I said, I will not allow myself to be married because this is a choice of the body. I will not allow myself to have children because I do not want to be immortal. I am immortal, and I choose to love the beings that are already here. I choose not to follow religion because my life should be a religion, and my spirituality is my religion. And anything else separate of these things will not be allowed. And that my love is both combination of deep physical lust and spiritual love for all mankind. And if that transcends a particular one individual, then fine, so be it. That will be the way that it goes. If that means that I'm bisexual, then fine. I've had thoughts to that end. It could be interesting. If that means I'm polyamorous, fine. But I'll do it because my heart tells me. I'll be kinky because my heart tells me, my gut tells me. Because everything is reflection of the internal. And until you draw the circle and you come back to knowing yourself fully, you've missed the point. The aim of the game of life is to know yourself, independent of anything else that they shove on you, anything else that even I shove on you. So, that's pretty simple, really, isn't it? Go have some fun. I know I will. Toodle for now. Bye-bye.